Okay, give me a chance to alter my pinned widgets for a second here, and let me check my audio settings. Okay, looks good. So I want to discuss a match I just did, and I just streamed it, but it was a rather shitty replay. Um, well, a recording of the replay. Um, the My mic wasn't working. So I played the game without a headset and a mouse because I had to return the headset that I had because it wasn't working. Um, had a 2-year warranty on it, and so I had the wife take it back because she's the one who bought it and bought the warranty, and she brought back a new one. Um, so I was trying to stream the replay, and for some reason uh, my headset wasn't working, the new headset. So I was sitting there trying to figure it out. So I decided to try and stream it without audio, and I didn't like it. Um, I know sometimes I become overly winded when I'm talking, but I do like to document my aces, and just kind of, do I have to? I mean, uh, the whole point of me streaming is so that I can, for the good matches and sometimes even the bad, I have a recording so I can study them and make myself better at the game. Uh, but um, sometimes when I go back 2 years and I look at some footage that where I didn't narrate, I'm wondering what the hell was I thinking when I did that. So a lot of times when I narrate, I kind of relay my thoughts going through my head when I was playing the game. Uh, it it helps me to kind of understand what I was thinking when I did a certain action. So that's why I like narrating. But anyways, we had a good game. Where was it at? Battle here. It was in the G.55S. Um, Typically, I have maybe 2 to 3 kills in a play in the G.55S when I'm flying it. I've never gotten an ace in it. Um, I have a shitload of 4 kill games, but never have I crossed the 5 kill threshold until today. Um, so in this game, I earned 143,000 plus silver lions. I was running a 10% RP booster, so we got additional RP because of that. We also won the match, so we got the bonuses that are entitled to us when we win the match. So we got a total of 15,000 plus RP. Uh, the plane is a premium plane as well, so it gets certain uh, bonuses as well. Um, I did take a little bit of damage from an A20 or A26. We'll see that in the footage. Um, there's the 10% booster. Um, so we got 5 kills. Two of them, one was a bomber, one was an attacker, and the rest, well, the other 3 were fighters. Um, it was one of those. So with the new release or the new patch, what is it, version 2.1.0? There it is right there. They changed the length of the ARB battles from 1 hour max to 25-minute match. And Jengar has a review that he released yesterday on his thoughts on that aspect of the patch, and I agree wholeheartedly with him in that the developers should not have done that because they hinder people who strive to, I guess, face adversity. Um, when you end up being one of only two people left in the match, and you have to fight out four and five and maybe even six or seven enemy. And if you do it, I mean that's huge. That's huge amounts of RP, Silver Lions, especially if it stretches out to near an hour. Um, because a lot of times you have to spend time climbing. You might have to return to base to get repair or fuel or ammo or all three. Um, you end up, even when you're climbing, you end up trying to position your plane to best run an attack. You know, if you got a bomber and a fighter, you can strafe the bomber and extend to the fighter if you position yourself correctly. Saves a lot of time instead of attacking one while the other is trying to gain a position on you. So all of that requires time. And Gaijin took, what is it, over and a half an hour, what, 35 minutes worth of time from the game. And no one says that each match has to last an hour, but they should be lasting more than 25 minutes because now, I played this whole week. The patch was released on Tuesday, and everything feels rushed now. Um, and it encourages people to do stupid things. You still have bombers climbing to the sky, thinking that okay, well, I can do all my climbing in 25 minutes, and I guess the whole reason for them limiting the match to 25-minute max was was to prevent people from doing things such as climbing or playing passively to extend the match until their side wins. It doesn't it doesn't stop anything. Uh, so they implemented this change, and you have a 25-minute match now. That does not stop those passive flyers from climbing and being elusive and hiding and being unreachable, untouchable for 25 minutes. Plus, you have a lot of fighters that can only fight, they can only energy fight, which means they have to side climb. So if you only have 25 minutes, you have to spend at least 10 minutes side climbing, especially like in things like P-47s, which don't have air spawns. So you start from the ground and you work your way up. And if you spend half you almost have to spend not even a quarter, almost nearly half the time climbing, side climbing, and not only that, positioning. You know, trying to line up your plane to best suit your first, I guess, attack run. So it's not just climbing; it's positioning. You spend a quarter to half of that 25 minutes just gaining altitude and an energy advantage or potential energy advantage, and so that leaves you what 15 minutes to finish the match and win it. That does not seem right. So uh, I don't think I'm going to be sticking around and playing RB anymore until that changes. So uh, I can either move on to IL2 or move to 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 sim, uh, you know, simulation battles. Um, I hate to do that because I enjoy playing RB. Um, I don't exactly enjoy sitting in SB for a 2 or 3 hour session trying to gain, I guess, uh, RP and SL. Um, not it's not that I can't do it, but I don't have a lot of free time. I mean, part of the joy of playing RB is it's a good medium between arcade battles and sim. So whereas arcade battles, they're always super quick. Um, it's almost like you don't really have to be experienced to enjoy that aspect of the game. I like more of a challenge, and I understand what AB is because I spent a majority of my 8 years of War Thunder playtime. Uh, 6 of that was AB. So there's a reason I moved to RB. I wanted more of a challenge. I enjoyed the longer battles, and a lot of times it requires thought to win a match. You know, you're always trying to gain the advantage. You're always trying to play chess instead of checkers. Um, in my opinion, AB is checkers. Um, Now, if RB is chess, then what is SB? You can consider it a longer game of chess. Um, each mode has their, I guess, their pros and cons. But the whole reason I moved to RB was because I was tired of AB. But now they're making it like it's almost they wanted to play like AB, not flight model wise or damage model wise or anything like that. But the time, it's almost like they're trying to force you to play a quick match. If I wanted that, I would go back to AB. So, I mean, yes, this has turned into a rant, but how in the hell are you supposed to strive to get an ace or strive to win in 25 minutes when normally a good match with a lot of action and a lot of thought as to how to accomplish the mission or win the battle, it requires more than 25 minutes. A majority of the time, if you look at my past streams, my past I guess my collection of battles, you will see that in most cases they run probably 30 to 40 minutes. So I don't know why they focused on that 25-minute mark. If the max was an hour, why not cut 15 minutes off and kind of work your way down? They just kind of took that apple and cut it in half when half is not enough. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not the only person that feels that way, but you got an awful lot of people that want quick battles in RB, and I don't understand why you would want that because you would think that think of it this way. If you've ever finished a battle and it took a whole hour, have you ever looked at how much RP and silver lines that you gained in that battle, especially if you were like really active? There are some battles where I was the only one left and there was a bomber who was sky high or at his base refusing to give me the kill, and so he would play super passive. There's several battles, there's several recordings of my streams where that happened, and at the end of each one where I won, you could see that, okay, instead of me trying to chase this guy, I went down and I farmed every single ground target I could find. I think there was one where I was flying in uh, Japanese BF-109 E7, and it played out that way. And so I killed all the pillboxes and all the AAA ground fixtures, everyone that I could find. And I believe I killed almost every single one by the end of the match. And I ran out of time. It lasted a whole hour, but I do believe I made close to 200,000 silver lions. And it had to be like 20,000 RP. So who would not want to be able to reap those type of rewards, even if it takes an hour? I don't understand who wouldn't want that. You got to put in the work, yeah, but that's the case in any mode. If you want a good match, you got to put in the work. If you want great rewards, you got to put in the work. It's not going to be given to you. So why would you want your time to be halved? I don't understand that. But we're gonna I could talk about this all night. But I would look at some of the recent patch. I guess look at some of the other War Thunder content providers on YouTube and look and see, you know, if you can find any thoughts on what they think about the 25-minute limit on these matches. Go and watch Jingar's video and see if you agree. You know, I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with him, and he agrees. I'm just pretty much stating exactly what he said. It severely limits you, especially if you're a veteran to the game. Um, New people, they might not care, uh, but in the end, I think it's going to kill RB, at least air RB. Um, it's going to do nothing for it. Really, it's not. You know, you have that, and the fact that they also mucked around with the matchmaker to where there are no longer any true allied versus axis matches anymore. A lot of times you see um, US paired with Japan and things like that. It's because the developers got lazy and they decided they didn't want to try and fix something that has been broken for years. They couldn't make it work, so they said, you know what, screw it, you guys are gonna have to deal with it. And so now it's like, before you could join a German team and know that people were going to play to the, I guess, to the planes that are available to the Axis team, um, to the German team, you know that you're going to have to side climb because those planes are mainly boom and zoomers. They climb well, and experienced pilots know that, okay, well, in order for me to be successful in this plane, and it's a it's an energy fighter, I have to side climb. And if side climbing in a plane that climbs very well, I mean, if why wouldn't you want to take advantage of that? So that's one of the reasons why the I guess Axis in general was usually very strong. But now, because of the way the matchmaker works, it's mucked all that up. So you no longer are guaranteed to be paired with, I guess, a country that has traditionally been uh, strong at flying a certain way. So a lot of times now, when I like flying Japan, um, but I've noticed that when I fly Japan, a lot of times it's paired up with the U.S. Country, and because I mean the two plane styles and the flying styles do not mix at all, because most of the time you don't see U.S. planes, U.S. pilots climbing. They ground pound, or they dive. Five fighters will dive down on one bomber that's down low, or one attacker, and the next thing you know, all of those guys have died. So it's like they're purposely trying to make ARB suck. Like they want all of those people to move on to one of the other modes. It's almost like they're trying to kill it purposely, and I don't understand. But anyways, let us move on, and we will play this match. And I did have one teammate in a FW190A5. I think it was, I can't remember the actual team makeup, but I was in an Italian plane. This guy was, it must have been Germany and Italy. I don't know the entire makeup here. You can find out. There you go. So here you go. It's the enemy team is US and Japan versus the rest of the countries. And we'll speed this up because I ended up sitting on the tarmac. I did eat into some of that 25 minutes of time because I was trying to troubleshoot. So I must have sat on the tarmac for maybe 5 minutes. We'll see in a second. Okay, 4 minutes. So now I've enabled mech because the engine already started overheating. That's one thing about this plane is it, although it actually has a decent climb rate per the stat card, and it feels like it climbs decently, but it does have overheat problems, and to avoid that, you either have to stay out of web until it's absolutely needed, or use mech, which I'm doing. I will be using this view from time to time as well. I will be using the pilot's view. So we're going to speed this up a bit so we can get to the merge. And they've of course they've already started killing without me. I'm trying to climb and get an advantage, and I'm starting to focus on that zero. I always try and get those out of the way first. Now I'm the highest. I'm higher than the rest of the enemy team. So I'm looking at him. It looks like he's going to attack this guy. Trying to pitch down a bit to get my speed up. Don't want to merge with zeros unless you've got a shitload of energy. I've got a decent amount here, and you have to balance it out because you don't want to be too fast. You start stiffening up and compressing. Okay. Turn on chat here. And where's he at? There he is. So he watched the whole thing play out with that zero. Gonna speed up here. Next we're focusing on those P-47s. Actually, I'm looking at that J2M because they're kind of dangerous. But because of the way, I guess, because of where the J2M is, I didn't want to make a run on him with that, in that P-47 end up behind me. These views kind of suck here. So I'm split-S-ing on this P-47 here. Damage his wing, I believe. So I've still got a lot of energy. I can actually chase him. He's low and slow. So skill 2. Now I don't know why I extended away. So I started trying to make a run on that P-47, but then he lawn darts. Teammate got him. And the FW-190 and I are going to be the last 2 guys on our team. We got 2 others that haven't died yet. He's gonna die shortly, and he's gonna die shortly. So he's fixated on that that SB, and I'm looking for the J2. Last time I saw him, he was headed over. I thought he was giving chase to that guy, but he never shows up, and I never see the dot. So I tell my teammate that last time I saw him, he was over here and kind of low, but they're they're one of the uh, fastest climbing planes in the game, so he could already be up way above us, and he's gonna say that. So it's one of these games where, you know, you kind of worry that there's someone above you and that you're gonna get pounced on. So I'm always kind of looking around, paying attention to the radar or whatnot, you know, kind of just looking for dots. There's someone over there. It's a bomber. I didn't see that in the match. And so I did check the stats of the J2M2 pilot. He looks like he's new to RB. So there is that, and plus, didn't seem like he was too busy in the match. I think he only got one kill. So he took down the SB-2C, but then he lost his plane due to ground fire. Just got too fixated. He got 2 kills. He could have waited and pulled off and waited for that guy to climb again. And so I saw something over here. I think it was the A-26 who shot down the 264 over there. And I think that's him right there. So I saw him initially, and then I lost him. And then I saw that guy there. And I believe I called out both of those guys. At least told my teammate where they are generally. Since you can see them, but you can't really call them out because they have no markers or anything. So my teammate saw this one, but he didn't see the one over to the left. And so I suspect because they're both low, and in my opinion, if you're far off and the dot looks large, then more than likely it's an attacker or a bomber. So I can tell that that's an attacker or a bomber. I just don't know which. Well, now I know that that's probably the B-17 that I'm going to shoot down. The one over here is the A-26. So I see those two, but I still do not see the J2M2 anywhere. So my teammate said that he doesn't have much fuel left. I think he said he had 7 minutes or something like that. So I'm waiting for him to break off, but he's still with me for now. There he is right there. So now he says he got 5 minutes of fuel left. So I'm at 5 km. Still looking for the enemy fighter. And I mentioned that he's still missing. He's saying that he's low. I don't think he is. There's no reason for him to be low. Turns out I thought that he was, well, you'll see in a few minutes, but I thought that he was over here the whole time looking to see if one of us will go back to base. He's trying to catch us out. And the reason I think that is because if I'm over on this side of the map, I should be able to see a dot or something. Unless he's in the clouds. I can't see anything. So he's got to be somewhere on this side of the map. And then toward the end of the match, I see him coming from that direction from way up high. So now I'm looking at that dot thinking, okay, I want to make a run on him. But only once he's away from the base. And I don't think he can see me. But the enemy, well, I don't see any tracers shooting up at me. But you never know. There he is there. So I know there's two of them. One's taken off, and I can't see where the other one is landing. And my teammate is going to get fuel now. So he's taken off. There's got to be the other one. Okay, he just landed. There's his dot right there. So that's the attacker. You can tell the difference in size of the dot right there. The one that took off, it's a lot bigger because it's a bomber. He's thinking that it's one of the planes is the J2, and I know that it isn't. They just don't render like that. I'd barely be able to see that dot if it was a fighter. So I lost track of the bomber. I know he's somewhere under me. He's asking me how much fuel I got left. Yeah, I took a whole half an hour. I always do. I guess that's kind of cool now to do. I mean, because you know you can finish a whole match. You take 30 minutes and the match is only 25. So I think I end up surprising him. Turrets aren't going off. Now he's shooting at me. So just from that alone, me getting close to him, that means his teammate could see me. So his teammate, if he's over there, he's probably beat feeding it back over here. And J2s are actually pretty fast. But then this guy pops an order. I don't know why he did that because I was already close by. He had to have seen me. Maybe it's to help the enemy plane. Maybe he knew he was going to die. It was going to help the J2 once he died. So here's when I take my first bit of damage. It's unavoidable at this angle. And I'm leading pretty good. Take his tail off. It's kill number 4, and he should be showing up any second. Somewhere over here. Or up here. There he is. You see it? Right there. And I see him right now. And I'm like, shit. And I told him I was a sitting duck. I expected him to come. Just because his teammates spotted me. So now he's loitering. Well, he should have a lot of speed. And now what I'm gonna do is I want to keep this amount of speed or close to it. It gives me more energy to maneuver, right? So I'm diving down a little bit. I'm turning under him, trying to give him a bad shot. Turning under him again. turn to give him a small profile, and then I'm turning around to get behind him. So this forces him to extend away. And remember, he's a newer player. I've seen some pretty wicked J2M pilots have a lot of experience, and they'll take all that energy and go straight up and just keep booming and zooming me like a damn seagull. So now it's like I know I won't be able to catch him. So I'm looking at the time, and it's 22 minutes. Remember, it's a 25-minute match, so we don't have much time left, and we have the advantage in tickets. So I decide to take my energy in the distance, and he's already coming back here. He saw what I was doing, and make the tickets go down a little bit. So right now, I'm not sure if ground a AAA is gonna make the tickets go down. We'll see in a second. So it's at 388. Killed that one. I'm gonna kill this one as well. 388. It didn't go down at all, which is a pity. So now I'm taking all that energy and extending over here, keeping low. And my plan is, so I know he's up behind me and he's gaining on me kind of quickly, right? So I'm keeping level, still going over 400 kph. And what I'm gonna do is I've already scoped out these I guess these hills. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend and come around this way. And here he comes, right? Watch this. And he tries to, I don't know why he tried to force a head on. I got the better guns by far. And I must have hit his elevator because he can't pull out. Either that or a combination of that and compression because he was going so fast. So that's the 5th kill there. And what I did was, look, my gear's coming out. I sometimes do that. I don't always have the forethought or the time to kind of come down and use the terrain to my advantage. That time it worked out beautifully. Instead of me chasing him and losing energy because this plane is not a good climber compared to a J2, I decided to stay down low. So it ended up being a pretty cool match. He should have not have tried to head on, but again, we had more tickets and there was not much time left. I mean, he might have been forced to, and that's another thing about this 25-minute match thing. It forces it's almost like it forces people to take more risks. You almost have to. He was the only one on this team left. We had 2 people left. The tickets were in our favor. It's almost like he was going to lose anyways, and so he said YOLO, and he lost. So I mean, even me, did I take any risks this match? No, it played out fine, but in the past week, I have taken risks because of the time constraints. You know, and you're in a plane that's not really good at head-oning, and you don't have much time left, and you need to kind of risk a head-on, especially if someone forces it on you, and next thing you know, you've lost your plane, and the battle. So that was a pretty cool match. It played out very well. I like the way I like the way it ended. Um, And if I was to have a takeaway from this to apply to my future matches, it would be to remember to always, if you're relatively low and someone pounces on you, and if there's terrain to kind of use to your advantage, use it. And that worked beautifully. I was low enough and I was in those nooks and crannies to where he really couldn't get guns on me until the last minute. And I had him lined up, and he couldn't, I guess he was going fast enough to where he couldn't risk pointing down any more than he was. And so I ended up critting him and he couldn't pull out of that dive. So I need to always remember that, because I swear, well, it's not always going to work. It won't work if you're in flat terrain area, like some of those desert maps. They don't have any really good terrain to be doing that. So it only works in certain cases. And two, it might not always work with I guess a veteran. Some guys, they know what to do. They'll just pull up and wait. There is really no rush. Um, and to be honest, if I were him, I might have. I don't like losing planes, because one, if he had one kill, um, but he lost his plane, so I don't know the repair cost of a J2. But it's almost a given that the damages that he caused in crashing are not going to be covered by that one kill that he got. So he was in the negative when he did that. It's almost better to just let, if you're going to lose the match, lose the match, and save the plane. You at least come out in a positive, in that you got one kill, you've got some RP, you've got some silver lions, and you don't have to use any of that to repair a plane, right? You don't have to use any of the silver lions that you earned in repairing your plane if you never crashed it or didn't take damage. So that's a takeaway. Even though you lost a match, even when you lose a match, you still get some silver lions. Um, so if he would have just let the match end or taken his time, uh, he still had a little bit of time left. He could have pulled up Immelman and nailed me. He had enough time to kind of give it a few more, uh, you know, boom and zooms, but he didn't do it. Um, and if anything, he could have just lingered up there. I mean, a minute, he probably had a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes max. He could have lingered up there. I wouldn't have faulted him for it. I would have been cussing, because I wouldn't have gotten that ace. But in the end, I don't always, I know I can be surly sometimes, but I always, if I don't do it from the onset, I'll later on, when I'm watching the replay, a year or two from now or 6 months from now, I'll watch it and I'll say, well, maybe I would have done the same thing. So, you know, all those times I cry about guys who are playing passive, there are times when I play passive too. So, there is no one definition of passive. It's all passive. If I'm running away from someone because they're in a turn fighter, some people call that passive, but you have to play your plane to how it's designed. You should never try and take a P-47 and win a battle, a slow turn fight against a zero. You're going to lose. So what do? Your only option is to extend away. They're probably not going to catch you unless they're higher than you and they can use that altitude to boom down on you. But if you're at the same level and you have enough energy to pull away, that's what you do. So from my perspective, I might think you're playing passive if I'm in the zero. But if objectively, if that zero pilot thinks about it, it's not really playing passive. You're playing to your plane's strong suits, or how the situation best suits you. And if you have more energy and you can run away, that's what you're supposed to do, because you can turn that around later by slowly climbing up and maybe draining energy from that plane or booming down at a later time. So I mean, it all plays out in a fashion where, you know, there shouldn't be any name calling in the game, really. You shouldn't be kind of singling out someone and saying they're playing passive unless all they're doing is sitting up at you know what 10k, 10 km. If you're up at 10 kilometers and you've been up there to 20 minutes not doing anything, and you're not on the scoreboard, and you've had a chance to go and get more bombs, or you've never even dropped your bombs, and you're too busy taunting people, yeah, that's passive play. Or all you're doing is you're staying over your airfield, or you're on your airstrip, and all you keep doing is hitting the jettison button. If you're jaying out all the times when someone is trying to make a run on you, then maybe you should just quit. I mean, on the flip side though, if I've just landed and I won't land if I see someone nearby. But if I don't see anyone nearby, that doesn't mean that there's not someone above. A lot of times you don't see the dot. They're so high you don't see it. It's not even being rendered. So if I land and I take a repair, a refuel, a rearming, and I spawn back in and I'm getting ready to take off and I see someone making a run on me and they're like less than 2 kilometers out, guess what I'm going to do if I'm not rolling? Of course I'm going to J out, because my thought is, no, I didn't see you. But if I did, I wouldn't have been on the ground. And if I have the option, if the game is going to give me the option to J out, I'm going to do it. So what I do is I J out. And then you hear all these guys being salty in chat saying, why did you J out? That's such, that's abuse. And they'll sit there and they'll try and report you. But if you didn't earn that positioning, I'm not going to give it to you. You can't just by happenstance say, oh, there's a guy on the there's a guy on the airstrip. I'm close by. I'm gonna make a run on him, and then bitch when they J out. I'm not gonna give you a kill just because you just happen to be in the area. Just like if you were above me, I'm not just gonna sit there and take bullets in the airframe. I'm gonna be juking. But if I'm on the ground, I can't juke, so I J out. And so I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. But because the option is you wait until someone is off of the tarmac, and if you really want to rip them a new one, you wait until they're maybe 4K away from their base. Just as I did with those two planes in this match, that bomber and that attacker. That's how you do it. That way you don't cry later on saying, "Oh, it was abuse," because you're salty because you lost your plane because you did something stupid, knowing that the first thing most people are going to do if they have the option is to J out. If you call it scummy, really, I think it's scummy to run up on someone like that. You got some players, some senior players who won't do it at all because they think it's scummy to attack a person on the ground. But I don't attack people on the ground because I know that they're going to J out. How do I know? Because it's happened to me before, and I took damage and lost a plane and died. It's happened more than once. So I will not make a run on someone unless I know I can get away, either get the kill, and if I can't get the kill, escape with minimal damage. And by that I mean I can take wing damage or anything else. Engine damage is a no-no, especially if you're making a run on the enemy base, because you're about as far away as you can be from your base to run and get repairs. So you don't want engine damage. That's another reason to not make a run on someone who's sitting on the airstrip. So those are I just gave an idea of someone who does it. If I was doing it, I'll do it if I can get away with it. If I was on the ground and someone was doing it to me, I gave alternatives. That's objectivity for you. You take it and you flip it around and you talk about both, I guess, both situations in a manner to where, you know, I'm not just talking out my ass. I've experienced all of that before. I've done it before, and I've had it done to me before, and it's actually in video footage. So you can, if you can look at those videos, you can actually see how fast I was going, or you can see how fast someone was coming in. And I mean, if you if you were a mathematical person, you might be able to create data points out of those. So that's objectivity. You're taking something that you can see, that's tangible, and that you know you can see how high someone is when they're making a run on you. You can see how fast they're going. You can see how fast you're going. You can see the altitude you're at. You can kind of calculate how fast he'll be. He'll be when he puts starts putting lead into you. Uh, all of that is like that's hard data. You know, Instead of venting, you know, look at the footage later on and learn from it and know what to do and what not to do next time. That's how the game should be played. Instead of people venting, well, he's playing passive, and then the developers get tired of hearing it and they implement some stupid feature that breaks the whole damn game. It makes one small group of people happy, but it breaks the game for everyone pretty much. But anyways, we are done ranting. Uh, just turned into a 50-minute video, but I do think I made some solid points. Um, you can agree or you can not agree, or agree to disagree or whatever. I mean, that's 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 what debates are all about, right? So we are good, and we will take this and add this to our video collection. All right, bye bye.